Hello everyone, welcome to another Transformers haul vid and a little bit of a catch up vid. Before I get on to the hauls, I'll just point out, obviously I'm still in the same place. Solicitors aren't the most speedy people, and as I'm sure a lot of you have found out when you've moved house, even though everyone else is ready to move, the solicitors aren't. So still waiting on a date to get into our place. Still living out cardboard boxes basically. I've got some stuff packed up and a few essentials sort of still intact, and obviously some things I just don't want to pack up yet, like the telly and some of my DVDs and stuff like that, but I wish I'd get on with it. Other than that, I've had chicken pox in the last 3 or 4 weeks since my last vid, so that was wonderfully fun as well. As some of you might know, obviously from the Facebook forum. But other than that, and the van breaking down, clutch going on that, so I had to get the clutch and the pedal done. And even now today it's decided to have a little leak as well, so I've got to get something else, but I can probably do that myself. One of the hoses going, so more joy. Like I needed anything else in the middle of moving and with everything else what's going on in my life. But other than that, try and do some normality. So try and do a film and try and do some boot fairs. And other than the boot fairs, I will show a pickup that I got. I think quite a few of you probably did the same as me. I know a few of you did. I think Stu did it as well. The works online now, I think they're a bit shorter stuff now, because I think it's pretty much gone by the by since all this happened, because this was a couple of weeks ago. But I too succumbed to the cheap Transformer graphic novels, and I got a nice second generation graphic novel, which I think was for £1.99 or something ridiculous like that. Normal price £15, but save a penny. So bargain. I've already read these. I mean, I read them the same day they came, so it's like I whizzed through them. Didn't have these as a kid. Now I did have a lot of the original G1 comics, and I've still got them. Not so much the earlier numbers of them, but these obviously coming out as G2. When the G1 comic line came to an end, I thought that was pretty much it. So where I had that on like a standing order with the newsagent, obviously that didn't carry over to when G2 started. So when the G1 line ended, I didn't realise any of the comics were still coming out. So these are all stories, although vintage, that I had no idea existed. So I picked up another couple of the graphic novels as well in the same sale. I got Dark Designs and Rage in the Heaven. Again for like £1 each or £1.99. I can't remember now, because I got this in a James Bond DVD I wanted as well, which one of the rare ones I didn't actually have. And yeah, absolutely ridiculous prices when you consider that these used to be, again, both of these £15, so you're looking at 45 quid's worth of graphic novels for, what are they? I think these were £1, so I think it comes out at about 4 quid, if I can get my words out. So absolute bargain, and obviously they're all brand new, so it's perfect. So really chuffed. Wish they'd do it with the rest of the graphic novel line. That'd be lucky. But yeah, so that's my sort of book purchase from the works. Now this sort of haul vid covers over 3 weeks, because obviously it's been a few weeks since I put a video up, and I didn't bother doing a vid earlier on because simply for the fact that, well, to be honest, I only picked up a couple of little items on the first week, so it weren't worth doing a vid. I picked up a few more the week after, but again I didn't really get around to doing a film because with everything else happening, didn't get a chance. I've been busy at work and that as well. And so my latest haul was today, so I thought I'd lump it all together and just do one video. So, if I can remember how everything went, on the first week that these hauls are from, I picked up a bit of a tatty and a bit damaged G2, I think it's snare. I think I've done a review of snare, maybe not. I have a feeling my one's damaged. I picked this guy up because although he's got a horrendous stress mark across the back, he has got some useful bits to use as spare parts on him, so I got him for that reason as much as anything. In the same box I also picked up, and quite pleased to pick up these because although they're a bit army builderish, it's nice to have them as add to my collection when I finally get my man cave. I got a Action Force Z-Force figure, so really quite pleased to find that. And last of all, on one stall I happened to find a bot shot. Now it's Megatron with the little tank mode version of him. As I've been calling bot shots to Ed on the Facebook page, I call them bum shots because bot bum anyway. Because I kind of think these are a bit of a joke, but he actually cost me 20p, and at 20p I can sort of like put up with them. I wouldn't pay the sort of £4 or £5 for like a couple of them, but they're a bit of fun. So at that level I'll pick them up. So all of that came to a grand total of 60p. So that was that haul for the week. You can understand why I didn't bother doing the vid. Now when it came to the next week, which was last week, I actually picked up a few bits. Non-transformery things first. I actually managed to get a really nice condition Action Force annual, following on from the Action Force figure. A little bit later, I think this is 87, this annual came out, but it's in really nice condition. And I got this one and a Care Bears one for my fiance, and because she's kind of into retro storybooks and fairy tale books from her childhood as well, I actually managed to get a Care Bears annual as well. Now I've got both of them together for £1.50, which is ridiculous anyway, because easily worth that each. But her one was from 1989, I think it was, and it was still in its original cellophane. It had never been opened, so she effectively got a vintage annual but brand new, which I don't understand why anyone brought it and never bothered to open it. But we have opened it and it's in mint condition. The pages were literally almost like not stuck together in a bad way, but almost stuck together where they'd been together so long, and you just had to carefully peel them apart. And the colours are perfect. Everything's sort of absolutely mint condition with it. So she was chuffed, and always nice to find her little bits as well as I'm going round. Excuse me. Now the next bits I picked up, again, they're not things I go massively for, but I pick them up if I see them cheap. And I got some Robot Heroes. Now I got Robot Hero Starscream, which I'm not sure if I got him or not, but he's in really good nick, so I picked him up. And with him I got Mirage. Now I do believe, if I let that focus, I do believe I've got Mirage, but again I'll check which one's in better nick. But yeah, good fun little figure I suppose anyway. They were 20p each, as was the last one, which again same mould as Starscream, but it's Thundercracker. Slightly different markings as well, because he's only got one Decepticon logo on his wings at the back, where Starscream's got two, so you know, they change things slightly, although the mould is identical. But yeah, nice little sort of bits to find. Now, following on from them, for £1.20, which I didn't mind paying at all, even though again these aren't really the line I pick up, I actually found a boxed and pretty much unused. All the cards inside this game are still sealed in their cellophane. The only thing they sort of like started to do, I think, was make the backdrop for the game. But everything is there, including Megatron and Optimus Prime from the Revenge of the Fallen sort of period. Yeah, really chuffed with that for £1.50. So it's a Robot Heroes game. So actually, there is actually a use for the figures now. Actually got a game. And my other half was saying that she's going to actually play a game with me, but we never actually got round to that yet. But maybe once we're in our own place, we'll have a bit of time. And the last thing, I was looking in a sort of box of odds and ends of Transformers. There was movie line bots in bits, even some like Cyberverse in bits, and it was literally bits. You couldn't even make up a whole figure with any of it. But there was a movie line deluxe in tatty condition, and I was looking through and I actually found, and I think I'm short of this from when I've actually picked up the figure before, I got the MechTech weapon for, it's either Jolt or Volt, it's the sort of grey coloured version. But yeah, to find the MechTech is very handy indeed. I actually said to the woman, you know, so how much for this? It's the only bit I want really. And she said, what is it? And I said, oh, it's the gun for the Transformer. But I said, he's not complete. He's sort of like, you know, not much use to me. But I said I could use the gun. So she said, just have it then. You know, don't worry about it. Just take it. And I said, you sure? You know, do you want something for it? And she went, no, literally just have it. If it's any good to you, take it. So I got MechTech weapon for nothing, which was really nice of her. And that was the end of that haul for last week. So we get to this week's. So I'll start off again with the non-transformery bits and work up to the Transformers. Again, I found a little bit tatty on the paintwork side, but I found another Action Force figure, and this is from one of the early lines as well. This is from, I think, the C Force, which is the equivalent of the C version of like Z Force's Land. But obviously like a diver. Now I think he was missing like an air hose what goes in the top of his helmet and like a backpack, so I suppose you could make him almost like blow bubbles underwater. Obviously those bits all get missing over the years, but it's actually a figure I haven't got, so great to find another one. And again, he can go nicely on display with my Action Force bits when I actually get my man cave. The next one I got was, it's a bit of a knockoff. I think most people will be familiar with seeing this, probably in amongst eBay lots and stuff like that. A bit of a knockoff sort of Transformer, very basic transformation, from the era, I'm guessing, of the 80s, sort of one of those sort of cheaper Transformer-ish sort of toy lines that were brought out by other companies to cash in on the Transformer craze. But I picked him up simply for the fact I've never seen one complete with all these stickers, so it was really nice condition, so I thought, well, 50p for it, I'll give that a punt. And it's always just a bit of a laugh to have a different sort of robot. He's got a lot of friction engine, a little bit like a Firecon, same kind of thing. It would have originally done sparks, I'm guessing, because it would have had a flint in there what would have worked, but it's not really working properly anymore, but I can live with that. Anyway, the next more robot-y sort of thing I got was another GoBot. Now he's missing his tyres, he looks like he's been parked on a rough estate and they've nicked all his tyres off his wheels. But other than that, he's in quite good condition. Quite heavy, a lot of die cast metal on the whole front end of the car. So again, picked him up. Other than the actual tyres, he's actually fine, sort of in robot mode. You could still sort of display him reasonably well. So quite pleased with that. I'm not sure of his name, but I'm sure one of you guys will probably tell me. Again, another toy line that I don't actually so much collect, but I'll pick them up if I see bits that are in good nick. And I was rooting through a box where I actually found the GoBot and the Action Force figure. I actually come across 3 of the Mask figures, I had to think then. As I say, I'm not as familiar. I think from memory, but I've had one of the albums. That's Max Tracker, is it? Something like that, the leader of the Goodies. And there's a couple of other, I think these are more the good guys as well. Unfortunately, none of the vehicles. I did have a good look, because I thought, well, you never know, they could still be knocking around. But what I did find inside the box as well, I did find the helmet for, I think it's the baddie guy who had the helicopter that turned into the plane. Again, names I'm not familiar with. And there was also another dark, sort of brownish, goldy colour mask as well, which, as far as I know, isn't for any of those three. So again, a couple of little masks, but always nice to find the accessories, so that was good. And talking of accessories, I actually found a bit, I have no idea which toy line this is for. It's probably something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, something like that. But I actually picked that up because I thought, well, the Trident's quite handy. I might give that to Octopunch for when I finally display him, even if I have to sort of slim down the actual shaft of the actual Trident itself, but make it a bit more like the sort of weapon he had in the comics and that. So yeah, I'll pick that up, just chuck that in as well. And then we get to the interesting bits, what I found in this box. Now, as obviously this guy had a route round and found a box. He's a bit of a dealer, and I think he'd got a box off somebody else at some point where they've had a bit of a clear out. Now, in the bottom, like I say, in the bottom of this box, as well as those mask bits and the Action Force bits, so same sort of era, I found not one, if I can pick it up, but two Powmaster Prime weapons, like hand weapons. So always nice to pick up G1 weapons. And again, a bit more of a route through. I found Galvatron's blaster, which again never really, as I say in my review of him, never really appeared in any of the fiction cartoons or comics, but for whatever reason they gave him another blaster. But as soon as I saw it, I knew exactly who it belonged to. And then, bearing in mind what I found, I don't think this is from a reissue. I think this is from the original. I actually found Roller from the G1 Optimus, and like I say, there's nothing on it to show markings from the era, but I don't think there is on the original. So I found really nice little Roller in very nice condition, very tight joints. I mean, the wheels look like they've only just come off a sprue. They've even got bits of sprue left on them, which made me sort of doubt, is this from a reissue or not? But it doesn't really look it, if you know what I mean. There looks enough dirt on it to sort of have had a bit of age to it. Let's say it's been in a loft or something like that. So again, really nice to find that. And then in two separate boxes, where some of this stuff had obviously got divided up, I found first of all a bit of a knackered Starscream launcher. Well, I say knackered, the spring's gone a bit inside, but always handy to have a spare one. Now, if I remember correctly, when I did my review of Starscream, I was short some of the actual bits what fired out of those blasters, and in one of the other boxes I did find the null ray end rather than the actual missile sort of end, and I prefer actually to have the null ray ends. And again, it's almost like when it was taken off its sprue, it's still got the little bit left there you just see on top. So again, I don't think this is off a reissue, because it has got the clip in and I think sprung loaded sort of side of it, which I don't think the reissues had. And again, it looks that little bit old, it looks that little bit dirty, but I don't think it's from a reissue. But regardless of that, really handy to find. So again, really pleased with that. And let's try and think, before I get to the last thing, which is a fun thing and not Transformer. This isn't really Transformer either, but I actually picked up another annual. I got a GoBots annual this time. Again, in lovely condition, and that cost me £1, so really pleased with that. But in with all those GoBot bits, the Action Force figure, all the transforming parts and that as well, and mask figures. I got a little homage. It's not actually his character, but for Harold Ramis, just to have a little bit of something in the man cave as a nod to Ghostbusters. Never been a line I bothered collecting as a kid, but I enjoyed it. You know, I watched the films and that, same as anyone else. And this guy was horrendously dirty, which again points to the fact that all these things are genuine, some out of somebody's loft. I actually found, I've never really seen one before, but I actually found Slimer, and he is a genuine from the time, because he's marked for the right year, for I think it's 84 he's marked. It's a little bit worn on the last digit of the 80s, but it's got Columbia pictures and everything on it and that, so I know it's genuine. But yeah, found a nice Slimer, give him a really good clean, and barring a couple of little marks and a little bit of paint just coming off the end of his tongue, he's in fantastic condition. So really pleased to get him, and it's a good bit of fun anyway, just for putting in the man cave as a nod to the films. And that's it. So that's my haul for the last 3 weeks. Like I say, not a great deal of Transformers, not a great deal of toys, to be honest, out there. Seen probably more Barbies and Action Men than anything else, but there's an awful lot of tat. Did see a couple of odd Transformers, but again, a bit bashed up. Ones I've already got, and not sort of G1s or anything like that. So I'm talking more movie line sort of stuff, but again, not complete. Waste of time picking up. But other than that, that's about it. The weather at least has been improving, so finally the boot fairs will be getting into full swing. I'm hoping, if I'm correct, next week one of the bigger ones actually will kick into action, so that will be good. Hopefully that's going to bring everybody out and everyone can start getting in their lofts and find me things to spend my money on. But yeah, that's about it for now. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you again for next time, hopefully. Probably will be a haul vid rather than a review, because with any luck I'll be moving soon, so it will be more likely, if I get out and get any bits, I'll show you those than actually be able to unpack anything and actually review it. So thanks for watching, and I shall leave you with a close-up of Slimer. See you again.